We are live on LinkedIn. Good morning, everyone. This is Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing, and I'm just going to do a quick check on my phone to make sure the stream is coming in on the phone as well. And if you are happening to be catching us live here on LinkedIn, I'd love it if you could leave a comment and say good morning or hello from wherever you are in the world, and let me know where you're joining us from if you could as well. So I'm starting a new series here, and those of you who know me well know that I love my job, my family. I also love coffee, chocolate, and pie. And I love pie so much that had a message come to me through Lee Everette, who's joining me today as my guest here. And Lee works for Sugar Creek Coffee Company. So Lee, good morning. How are you doing today?
Hey, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. I'm doing well.
Great. Well, I am so delighted to have you on, and I got to tell a little bit of a background story behind this, and I'm going to do a screen share as I'm telling the story here. So let's see if I can do that. Lee and I, we've been connected for a little while here on LinkedIn, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to still go back in the StreamYard here, make sure this is coming up on LinkedIn, and then I'm going to pull the screen a little bit larger here, just so I can show everybody the back and forth here. And this started actually back in November that Lee had reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, hope you're doing well." And then he saw my coffee emoji. And I was really just, I was impressed. He commented on the coffee emoji. I think, Lee, you're the first person who works for an organization that produces coffee who reached out with me. And you mentioned that you work with the Sugar Creek Coffee Company, and I was just like really impressed. And I bought some of your coffee, and I loved it. I mean, I think I told you, I got it in the mail, and I was just really impressed with the whole approach that you took, both with LinkedIn and with your marketing as well. So why don't you, if you could, tell me a little bit about the company, how long you've been there, what you guys do, what makes you different than other coffee places that are out there.
Well, yeah. Well, first off, I appreciate all the kind words. That means a lot, and that's really our big try to be our big differentiator is just that white glove service, and try to keep that the same across the board, because you can get coffee a bunch of different places, anywhere from commercial to other craft coffee roasters. So
Right.
we try to set ourselves apart in that way. For me, so our coffee company was founded by Chris Berger, and he had been actually like crafting his own beers for a little bit,
Really?
and then so he had that's where he had started, and
Okay.
he really wanted to make a good coffee beer. So he was big on knowing where the coffee actually came from, like the quality of the coffee, things like that.
Okay.
So he actually started ordering some of his own coffee. Once he started doing that and roasting coffee like real small batches, he
Right.
found a passion for the coffee roasting. And that was 20 years ago, and ever since then he's been roasting coffee, traveling around doing different things. And probably about, I think it was like 2 or 3 years ago, he decided to turn it into a business.
Okay.
And slowly started building that business. And him and I met probably over a year and a half ago,
Okay.
and we were actually talking about men's wellness retreats. So I had talked to him, and had come across him on LinkedIn actually, and shot him a message, and we just created this great friendship. And fast forward to like a year and a half later, because he's still balancing this with his W-2 job, but he slowly he wanted to make sure all the equipment was right, make sure all the branding was right, make sure all
Yeah.
the everything was like to a T. And so working the amount that he does, he's like, look, I really want to continue scaling this thing. And I had just went on my entrepreneurial journey.
Right. Yeah.
I
You've
have
been on your own for a little while, right?
Yeah, for a little bit, and it just was a perfect opportunity, because I had been looking to do something a little differently. I didn't know, I wasn't too too keen on knowing all the facts and figures and all the information about coffee before I started,
Right. Did
but
you
I
like
loved
coffee
good
though?
coffee.
You loved coffee before you started working with them?
Right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love coffee, but I didn't know too much about like the actual process, what it
Right.
entailed, the sourcing, the roasting, all that. And so we just kept the conversation going, built a really good friendship, and lo and behold, he needed somebody to help on the marketing side of things, and start doing a little bit of sales and
Yeah. That's
just
awesome.
promotion in general. So I was like, man, we're really good friends. I love your story. I love your passion, and I'd love to be on your team and help you grow this from the ground floor. So that's kind of where we're at.
That's awesome. So let me ask you, Lee, and when I got my first batch of coffee, I got a box in the mail, And it was so impressed. I did an unboxing video. I think you saw it, and I had my daughter with me. It was on a Friday because I wanted to I didn't know how it was going to go. And, I didn't even know what was inside the box too. And I opened it up and I had a pound of the coffee, and it smelled amazing. When I opened the box up, it was just this, I love coffee, but it was this amazing, amazing smell. And I got the pound of coffee, and it was a really nice handwritten note card. And then this coffee mug too, which is like really cool because it's a little bit different. It's not like too oversized, but it's like perfect, and it's kind of neat. So is that your idea to do the kit for welcoming new customers, or what was that? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we're always brainstorming new ideas, but I've got to give credit to Chris because, again, like his big thing was like, he's got a real passion for like the customer experience. So every time we send something out, that's the same white glove service that people get, and we keep it across the board.
So for first time customers, everybody gets that.
Yeah, so first time customers, we always try to do a handwritten note. We always try to maybe include like a free little goodie bag or whatever it may be, a coffee mug, a little gift, just to show like, hey, we appreciate you supporting us and we'd like to support you. Just anything we can do to set ourselves apart that's genuine, because with us, we kind of came up with a little slogan. We have a passion for coffee and a love for people. And we can kind of get into that later, how we got to that. But it just basically means from the start of the process, everything's ethically sourced with the farmers that we use, with the beans that we select, with the quality that we go after, all the way to the end customer experience, and all that ties in with the quality of coffee that we expect and want to deliver, but also the people aspect, from the very front end to the farmers all the way to the end customer. We still have that love for people, and then those two kind of combine, and you have that passion and the love, and it matches together really well, and it's a genuine message.
Yeah. So you guys are I'm sorry, what city are you in?
So we're in Charlotte, North Carolina. We roast out of Indian Trail, North Carolina.
Okay. And do you have a storefront where people can come in and purchase a coffee, or is it all mail order, warehouse? Tell me about that.
So we actually don't currently, and that's another thing we've kind of been talking about, and our idea right now is that we want to be the provider of good coffee to those coffee shops, and then as we grow and scale, maybe a brick and mortar, maybe a little traveling coffee bus. We're working
or something maybe.
Yeah, we're working with a few of those right now. I'm actually meeting with one today that does like a little espresso car that drives around.
Cool.
So we just want to provide quality beans to people, coffee shops, businesses, households, anybody that likes a good quality coffee. And then we try to keep the price point where, it's fair enough, where it's not an arm and a leg, but it's also, you're buying local as well.
Right. You're paying for quality. And I will admit, I could definitely go to Myers or, Kroger those are my grocery stores near me, and I could buy a pound of coffee for less than what I paid for you guys. But so I have to share the story. So I got this pound of coffee, and I got it ground, and when you go online, I thought it was really cool too, because you can kind of pick what type of coffee you wanted, and then it asks, do you want it pre-ground, or do you want whole bean, and is it a drip coffee maker? Is all these different options. So I picked the drip coffee maker, and it came in the mail, and I opened it up, and it was amazing. And I had my husband make it. He does the coffee at our house, and he made it the next day. And then for a week he was making, and it was just like, is this amazing? And it was different. I could tell it was different. It was a better quality coffee. And it was towards the end of the week, and you and I originally had this scheduled for, I think, 2 weeks ago. And it was at the end of the week, and it was like Friday or Saturday. And I asked my husband, I'm like, this coffee is just not as good anymore. I go, aren't you still making the sugar-free coffee? And he's like, no, we finished it. And I said, well, we finished it. I've got this interview with Lee, and I've got my mug. I'm going to be drinking coffee. I'm going to be drinking like Folgers coffee when I'm on the interview with him. So I messaged you, and I'm like, hey, we got to postpone the interview. And good for me, though, because I got to buy another pound of your coffee, and I actually got a regular and I got a decaf. Awesome. I'm the kind of person that, I've got to switch to decaf and by like 2:00 in the afternoon. Otherwise, I'm up all night.
Yeah.
So speaking of up all night, you're up all night right now because you've got a newborn at home, isn't that right?
I am, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like between being a little nasally right now, and then my sleep schedule being all over. But he's been a really easy baby so far.
How old, and what's his name?
His name's Sloan. So he was born on the 7th. So
he's a newborn.
What is that, like? Not even just a week old.
Oh, well,
So
happy 1 week birthday to Sloan and congratulations to you. So the coffee's,
I
is it
appreciate
helping
it.
you right now function?
Yeah, it definitely. I just had my cup earlier, so
Oh, that's great.
yeah, it definitely helps for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's been an awesome little baby and definitely life changing as
Yeah.
you know,
Right.
having your own.
First one for you, right? First son, first
It
baby.
is
Okay.
for
Yeah.
first one.
It's life changing in so many ways that, it's all consuming at times, but you also can't ever imagine your life before baby, right? Like at this
That's
point,
right.
it's like, I don't know, what did we do last week before we had a baby in the house? It's different.
Right. It's
So,
totally paradigm shift, and you can even see my little stroller over here. So my office is slowly being taken over. So
right. It's amazing how these little, tiny little babies can use so many things in
so much.
space.
I'm tired
So,
of hearing the word stuff. I
yeah.
just hear the word stuff everywhere. Stuff,
Oh, it's
stuff,
good stuff.
stuff.
Well,
I'm
let's
like,
take a second here and see who's online. We've got 42 people joining us right now. I'm going to just go through the list here quickly and say hi to some folks here. We've got Samitha, Sharad, Ahmed. Good morning to all of you. Gaurav is joining us from India. Jeff Young is joining us from Columbus. We've got a couple more folks from India. Julius says, good morning. Lisa, hello from Michigan. Thanks for joining us in my backyard here. Julio, Diana, Dave is from Australia. So we're now global here. We're not just,
well, yeah.
we got India and Australia. We got 2 countries on here. Jonathan, Stephen, hi, hello. You love coffee as well, Stephen. So you got to check out Sugar Creek. It's really good. Para is from Hong Kong, and it's 10:45 at night there. So end of the day for Monday there.
Oh wow.
And Tony wants a mug too. So Tony, if you order the coffee, first-time customers, I think you get a little pack of marketing materials, and you may get a mug as well. So Seth says hi, and we've got Robert joining us from Poland and Bettina as well. Seth is from Stamford, Connecticut. So if you guys have any questions for Lee about coffee, about marketing of coffee, or about the company, feel free to jump those in right now, and be happy to entertain your questions for you. And while I'm waiting for that, we're streaming live to Facebook and to LinkedIn at the same time. And I'm just going to toggle over and kind of watch for comments out on Facebook as well. So whatever network you're joining us on, leave us a comment. And if you happen to be watching this in playback mode as well, do leave us a comment, and we'll make sure that we get your questions answered for you. And I'm going to pop up on the screen right now. Here is the Meller marketing page. And one of the limitations of StreamYard is that you can't see comments live on StreamYard through LinkedIn. It's a LinkedIn limitation, not a StreamYard limitation. So if you go to Facebook, if you wanted to have your comment go up on screen, you can leave it on the Facebook page there. And I'll leave that up for another couple minutes here as we're talking. So, so Lee, we're in the holiday season right now. So any special marketing or promotions or, ideas for others, even perhaps as it relates to holiday marketing and, reaching your customers, connecting with your customers. Any thoughts there?
Yeah, so we've got like a new little holiday blend that we just released, and then we're trying to do some cool little other things too. So we actually got some little coffee candles in, which are
Cool.
really neat. So they're coffee scented, and we do like our whole packaging and everything there. And then we've got like the typical like stickers. We've got a bunch of different like thermoses, mugs, t-shirts, hats. That type of, I guess they call it swag, right?
Yeah.
um, so we got a bunch of different stuff like that. What we did do that was really cool for the holidays is, I don't know if you saw, we have like we're trying to do like catering now, or contribute to caterers, or either do catering
Okay.
for like networking events, businesses. Because what we've seen is that a lot of leadership that what we've talked to is that typically coffee falls at the wayside at these events. So you've got these great events, you've got all these people, and you've got a lot of like coffee lovers, and and coffee usually is like the last thing people think about. So we're trying to offer excuse me, different coffee services for folks, ranging from espresso to hot coffee, to we've even got nitro cold brew we can take on the road with us, and that's really, really neat.
Very cool.
Yeah, we've actually got like a little patent pending piece on our machine, and the big thing about nitro is that you want it to come out kind of like a Guinness.
Okay.
And so with our piece, it makes the coffee come out at a certain consistency, so it has that nice frothy head, and then it's like super ice cold at the bottom. So if you've ever I'll use Starbucks as an example. Like if you've ever had a nitro cold brew at Starbucks, because they do all the marketing for us, right?
Yeah.
They it's not very frothy at the top, and if you really feel the cup and when you drink it, it's kind of like lukewarm. And so that's some of the biggest issues, like obviously like with commercial coffee and then those commercial like nitrogen tanks and kegerators. So what we did with Chris, again, he kind of like worked his magic and we got a little piece that he's trying to get a patent on, and it makes it come out like, I tell people it's like silky smooth and ice cold. I mean, it's literally kind of that feeling you get after you drink it. It's quite addictive.
I've never had that. I'll have to give that a try. I've never had that.
I wasn't a big cold coffee drinker, and I tried that stuff. I looked at him, I was like, this is amazing. And then
Really?
even like, even flavors, like we'll put just a tad a bit of flavor in, like because he seeps the coffee for 20 hours.
Wow.
And so it's true, it's true cold brew. It's not hot coffee turned to cold,
right? Like an iced coffee where you put
a lot of people get that mixed up. I wanted to toss that out there for people listening. So it seeps for like 20 hours, and I mean, we've got pumpkin spice. He did like just did like a chocolate mint. We got chocolate French vanilla, regular coffee, and it's really good.
This might be like my favorite interview ever, because we're talking about coffee. We got coffee up on screen. I've got my coffee mug. I'm enjoying. I think I might do these things too, where it's like a coffee talk, and like there's a lifespan of how long your coffee will stay hot in the mug.
Yeah, right.
Half hour, right? So we keep
coffee beans, baby beans.
Right. I even so I want to show you how much I love coffee. I have a couple other little props in here. I was at an art fair for a high school recently, and this is coffee beans that are glued together with a hot glue gun, and it's starting to lose its scent now. It's got a little bit of it still to it, but it was a high school student that made it, and I made her an offer to buy it. And then my daughter, she has, when Sloan gets older, he'll start doing little fun things like this for school. So this is, let's see if you can see it. So 100th day of school at the schools, and the kids do different things, and they count 100 things or whatever. And they could put anything they wanted 100 of in a bottle. So these are 100 coffee beans in the bottle. Isn't that adorable? And
it runs in the family.
And she knows her mom. You saw her in the video with me. She was all excited to open things up, and she even like, the coffee smells good. And these are still.
How old is she?
She is 8.
Okay.
So I think this was last year's 100th day, because if I'm not mistaken, I think the 100th day comes into January in the school year. If there's any teachers online, you probably know when the 100th day is. If you could message and let us know when that 100th day is. But yeah, she's 8, so she's not a coffee drinker yet. Yet.
She's super social. Yeah, she's super social and sweet. I saw the video you posted, and she was, most children that age, I feel like, are a little shy sometimes, but she was killing it.
She is pretty outgoing, and we've always been a digital family. I've been active in social and digital for, all of my kids' lives, really. I've been on LinkedIn since 2006, and my son was born in 2004. Okay. And Facebook, I think I joined in 2008. So I remember him growing up. We would take pictures and we'd look at him on the phone, and he was like, "Oh, that's going to go on Facebook." He would know like when we were going to share things when they were kind of fun. Yeah. But so see, when we go to coffee shops, she'll get a hot cocoa or a little treat from the bakery or something like that. But she knows I loves coffee, and she knows that I was so excited to get the box and unwrap it and everything. So yeah, that was kind of fun. And I'm just looking at the questions that are coming. And this is a question somebody asked, and I don't know, Lee, that this will be a question for you. This is probably more a question for Chris, who started the company. But somebody had asked, they want to know if it was hard to start the business, coffee beans, vendors, packaging, etc. Is that anything that you could speak to, or is that more of a question that we could send over to Chris?
Yeah, I can touch on that. Okay. So, I mean, the biggest barrier of entry, I would say, like, yes, or the relationships are really important, because you can go and try to just find some Joe Schmo, coffee provider, but how well do you really know those people? And so what Chris has done, he's gone out and built like exclusive relationships with folks. He knows where it's from. They go through like a vetting process. They're approved with like fair trade organizations, that type of thing. So that can be a little difficult. And the other thing is really the equipment. The equipment's not very cheap, to be honest. And so like to get like a nice, even like a small roaster, it can cost you, quite a bit. And then when you want to go get a little bit bigger one, a commercial size. Because what we do, we use an artisan roaster, and what that means is like a lot of coffee machines I kind of only have maybe like a certain amount of buttons, like very few. It's kind of like plug and play, like, hey, I'll press this, and it kind of automates the whole alchemy process behind it. So for us, we can control everything: the gas, the airflow, the drum speed. There's so many different things we can control, and so that's how you can see. And so those cost a little bit more too. So the more, like any niche, right? Anything you want to get into and do it well, usually there's some money involved. So I would say that's probably the biggest and hardest thing to hit, you
Yeah.
know. But other
And
than that, you know, if you've got a passion for it, and maybe even can, you know, find somebody to go in with you and things like that. Yeah, I mean, that's probably the biggest barrier of entry. And then what was it too, like labeling and everything? I mean, obviously that can be difficult too with Chris's W-2 background.
yeah.
He's used to doing a lot of that stuff. So that was, you know, advantageous for us because he
Okay.
was familiar with the branding and the things of that sort. So
Yeah, no, I think that's so important too as a marketer. I mean, when I got the
yeah,
coffee, it wasn't just like it was thrown together with sticking a label on the front. I mean, the coffee itself is quality coffee, so you want to make sure that you're matching that with your marketing and
yeah,
and really consistent. I mean, even the color orange, it's probably a specific PMS and web color that you're using throughout, and the gray tones and everything. I mean, the packaging itself, the bumper sticker, the magnet,
yeah.
everything. You've got the t-shirts on your website. And speaking of machines, I pulled this up on your Instagram. I'm gonna play the video here. So is this coffee being roasted? And I just thought this was a fun little video. Is it
Yeah.
work here?
So it's roasting. What it does, it sits in this drum and cools off. So like, I mean, you're looking at 300-400 degrees, and usually the beans are
Wow.
hotter than that. And so the minute they come out, they sit in this big drum and they start spinning, and they're instantly cooled off, kind of like a steak.
Okay.
And then we let that sit for, you know, a couple minutes, and then as we're getting set up for another batch, that's spinning and cooling off, and then that's us dropping it after it cools off.
That's so cool. Yeah, I just really love what you guys are doing, and I love the fact that you're kind of showing the behind the scenes on the making of the coffee process, because people like me, and I don't know if I can I call myself a coffee connoisseur, Lee. I think I can do
Yeah, especially if y'all are doing pour overs. That's a lot more advanced than me.
I don't know. I mean, I will say I don't think I'm a coffee snob, maybe coffee connoisseur, but my husband and I will have conversations about where the best coffee places are in
Yeah.
town locally. And, we have our, the coffee shops that we like, and he'll say like one of the gas station's coffee bars is just as good as a coffee shop. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's different. I mean, when you have quality coffee, it really matters. And I think also it's the whole experience that you're creating for your customers that you
Yeah.
talked about. That consistent brand look, the customer service experience. I mean, the fact that when I got my second shipment, I got a regular and I got a decaf, and there was still a note in there, and it was personal. It was a handwritten note. I mean, you don't get those.
Yeah.
If you order from a big coffee company, you get a drop something on the front porch from FedEx, and they are on their way. And this was like, it was just it was a personal note that came along with it. So I'm a big believer in supporting small businesses, especially now as an entrepreneur. I have a whole other appreciation for what it takes to run your business and to be successful. And I love that you reached out to me with that personal note, last month on LinkedIn, and you were just like, hey, saw your coffee emoji. Looks like you love coffee. You should check out our coffee. And I usually don't respond to, what I deem those sales pitches on LinkedIn,
For
but
sure.
yours was personal to me, Lee. I mean, you could tell by the coffee emoji that I love coffee. And, I was intrigued. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll go check out the website. And then you see all the videos and everything. I'm like, oh, it's not that expensive. I'll try a pound of it. And then when I got the shipment, and I was just really impressed with it as well. So thank you. You've got me hooked as a customer now. And,
I appreciate that.
even thinking about, I have a couple family members I haven't purchased gifts for. I'll see if any of them are watching right now.
Yeah.
And if they do happen to mention this video, maybe I'll send them a pound too. So that'll be my catch to see if they're watching it.
Yeah.
So,
And the keyword,
go ahead.
and like you said, it's just the experience. I mean, you hit that spot on, and we're even trying to get people more behind the scenes. Like we're having people come in, like coffee shops. We'll have them come to our roaster and roast, pick whatever bean they like, show them like our process, all that, because we really want them to be a part of it and be true partnerships. So you hit that spot on with like the experience. We really just want people to have a good experience. And like you said, you can tell the difference between the coffee, and coffee creates a nice experience. It brings people together, and it's non-alcoholic, right? So it's like a way to sit down, talk to somebody, and share a conversation. And coffee is unique in that sense. So that's the part I really enjoy about it.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it is something I think great point is that it brings people together. And I sometimes, it's like, as a parent, coffee wakes you up in the morning, especially when you had those late nights and long nights with the
Yeah.
kids before. But even I feel like, coffee just really, helps me feel inspired, and you get that little boost of energy from it. And it's just something I think I associate, a lot of happy memories with. I remember growing up, my mom drinking coffee, and I think I'm
Yeah.
a legacy coffee drinker because of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you so much for reaching out, Lee. And any kind of final comments for our audience here? And I put Lee's LinkedIn up on the screen here. If you could connect with him and mention that you saw the LinkedIn Live. But Lee, any final comments for us before we let you go and get started with your day?
I'll just say I'm super active on LinkedIn. If anybody ever wants to chat with me, shoot me a message. I always jump on a call, always open to talk to people. I love LinkedIn. I love the power of LinkedIn. I do the LinkedIn local events here in Charlotte. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I'm real passionate about it. It's helped me bring and build relationships I never would have had if it wasn't for this tool, i.e. the coffee venture. And so that gave me a good partnership and a friendship. So I just want to say I really appreciate you speaking so highly of us and having me on your show. It really means a lot. And, it really means a lot to our business as well. Because like you said, it's not always easy getting out there as a startup.
Yep.
And any genuine support we can get, we always appreciate and we welcome with open arms and always try to reciprocate that. So I really appreciate you having me on. It means a lot.
Well, thank you so much, Lee, and thank you for being available and for being flexible too, to kind of changing the date. And I think we were originally scheduled before baby arrived. I know what it's like with a newborn at home. Having had two ourselves, ours are a little bit older now, but I know like your stuff, not yours now. So I really appreciate you being available. You look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so I think you're probably still in the honeymoon period of being a parent. Like a month in,
Hashtag Sugar Creek.
Right? But I always say that's why God makes them cute. When the going gets tough, you do look at this beautiful child and you look at Sloan and he's gonna smile at you and love you, and it's just absolutely amazing. So
you can't put it in words.
Yeah, enjoy that and enjoy your first holiday season with a little one too. It's gonna be exciting for you.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. I hope you and your family do as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Lee, for joining us. I'm going to excuse Lee, and then I'm going to stay online for a few more minutes and see if there's any other comments that are coming in. So, Lee, thank you so much and for joining us, I should say, and have a great day. And I'm going to continue to finish off my coffee here.
Cheers. Thanks, Brenda.
All right. Take care. Thanks. All right. So I'm going to stay online here. I'm just going to remove Lee from the stream here and keep myself online here. And I've noticed we had a couple other folks that are joining, and I want to say hi to each of you. Let's see. Dave, coffee is king. Absolutely love it with passion. Likewise, my friend. Bettina says, love fresh coffees. Teresa loves coffee as well. Seth, I don't know the deal with the pour over coffee. Never tried it, but Lee had mentioned a few things during the call today and some different techniques with the nitro cold brewed coffee. So I might give that a try as well. Jennifer saying good morning and Lynn saying thank you both. And we've actually got 70 people online right now. So I'm testing out different days of the week to try out LinkedIn Lives and even different formats for interviewing guests and for doing individual segments, if you will. Just me talking online. Today, I'm going to go back to the cover screen here, and I liked calling this Coffee Talk with marketing. And instead of saying marketing with coffee, we're doing coffee with marketing layered on top of it. And we were featuring today Lee Everette, who is with Sugar Creek Coffee. Which was really a nice cue in to, my love of coffee. I think your love of coffee. If you are connected with me online, I've got that coffee cup emoji, and that's kind of what brought Lee to my profile and how I first heard about Sugar Creek Coffee. So kind of, again, it just shows you the power of LinkedIn and connecting people from all across the world. Would never have heard of Sugar Creek Coffee had I not had that coffee emoji on my LinkedIn profile. So I was really happy to do that. So let me know, what did you guys think? Did you like the format here today? A few of you, I think you've watched me in different interview segments in the past. I've done some where it's just me talking, like right now, and I've done some interviews as well. Did you like the coffee talk with marketing? Is that something you'd like to see more of? Let me know in the comments. It looks like Mike said you drink too much coffee. Is that even possible, Mike, to drink too much coffee? I think it could be when you start to get too jittery and you lose the effect of the fun part of the coffee and you go into the crazy part of the coffee, maybe. But I probably drink a cup or two a day myself, Mike, and probably by the end of the day, moving into the afternoon, I'll switch to a decaf because I still love, especially here in Michigan, it's kind of cold. So I just love putting my hands around that mug and warming it up, and just this coffee just smells absolutely. Excuse me for 1 second here. This coffee is really amazing. It's really, really good flavor, and it's just different than the store-bought coffee. You can tell it is made differently. So it's just something, it's a higher quality. And as a coffee lover, I definitely appreciate that. I love the marketing that they do, everything from, I don't know if you can even tell on the inside of this mug, it's the same color orange as they've got on their logo. So there's nice brand consistency there. And I even like the style of the logo. If you can see that, there's a little bit of a glare with the light in there. But you can see that it's kind of got this this fun, playful, and as a marketer, I always appreciate how logos help to illustrate our brand personality. And you can see on their logo, it's a little bit of a throwback type of an effect to the logo, but it also is a friendly. So it looks a bit of like an antique style in terms of the lettering. I'm trying to get this to crisp up in here on the screen, but it's also very approachable. It's a friendly looking logo. And I love that about the marketing. And you can even tell, where's my Meller marketing logo? Let's see, right over here. So this logo that I created for my company, I wanted to have something that incorporated my brand color of pink. And then around the outside, I incorporated the dotted line effect, because when I first launched my business, I wanted to make sure that part of my brand is sharing tips and techniques with others. And I think about the effect of the dotted line is almost like a coupon, something that's kind of clippable around the outside. So that was a little bit of my inspiration there. So, all right, guys. So Larry, you had asked which blend am I drinking. I'm going to go into the shop and tell you this real quick. And my battery is almost off on my laptop, so I'm going to get going here. So I think I actually got the, this is the signature blend, and then they have, I think, just one organic, and I purchased the organic as well. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining. If you're watching this in playback, let me know if you liked this format. I've got a list of others that I'll be including in future segments. We might do this every Monday at 9:30. I'm trying to figure out that schedule right now. And I guess that'll be it for today. All right. I'll let you guys get going. Have a great rest of the Monday. This has been Brenda Meller with Meller Marketing. Give us a like and a comment below, and we'll see you online again soon.